hope you've been having a wonderful 2 days today here at FINSEC, and would urge you to go around and really see all the different stalls as well as visit, different sessions, attend the different sessions. Post-lunch sessions tend to be a little bit heavy, but the topic is very interesting, and we have a very good elite panel here to help us navigate through this SupTech, which some of us have certainly heard, but I'll just elaborate briefly on what that might be, what that might mean to many of us. So SupTech or supervisory tech is something that goes beyond regulatory tech, reg tech, and it encompasses a whole lot of things in the ecosystem, which we'll elaborate here in this session. So we have to look at the things that there are cross-border transactions, there are jurisdictions, different jurisdictions, there are different technologies, and then things have become very fast. So monitoring needs to be done in real time. Okay, and also there are business model innovations as well. So many new business models are coming out. So plain reg tech won't do. To take a small example, let's say there is cybercrime. In cybercrime, it is possible that money is knocked off, and after that it is moved through so many mule accounts, and then it goes off abroad and possibly converted into cryptocurrencies or something, bitcoins or something, and then it's gone. Now a plain reg tech will not do. You will need a whole load of technologies, several regulations, even cross-border collaborations, so many things to be there in order for it to be successful, in order for us to prevent such crime or even catch the culprits. So because of this, SupTech has gained priority. And there are many things which happen immediately in real time, they need to be tracked. Many things which are in the offing. For example, say we know that DPDP Act is coming. So you need to put all the basics there in order to be compliant to DPDP Act and several other regulations that are coming in. To just share a thing with you, in the past 3 years alone, there have been 6 new standards released in IoT security. Okay, so this goes to show that how fast things are developing. And with AI and all being used, there is cyber for AI and AI for cyber. I'll not go into depth, but because of it, you will need to have, today probably you attended many sessions, including Vinayak's session. So essentially, you will need a whole new level of monitoring, which goes beyond plain regulatory tech. So SupTech or supervisory tech, that is the one term that encompasses many of these. So what this is, we would like to know a little bit more from our esteemed panelists. Okay, so I'd first like to start with Basil, okay, on SupTech and what you're doing about it. How is it being implemented in your organization? Now, SupTech covers a lot of areas. Technology-wise also, ranging from cloud to mobile to your AI, blockchain, and several others. So yes, over to you, Basil.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shriram, for the question. So, as per BFSI sector, what we are seeing, like SupTech, we are already seeing the adoption, like starting with the ML, what we started, where we have a lot of data available with us, because initially when we had this data was residing in the silos, like for the customer point of view, there was data which was available with the business. Similarly, for the application monitoring, there was data which was lying with the applications team, which was different, cybersecurity. So with the SupTech, we started doing the consolidations, and accordingly the use cases are, we are defining the use cases accordingly. So it gives us the holistic view of the organization's security posture as well. So that with this data and the data analytics point of view, we are using SupTech to identify what exactly the fraud are happening with the organizations, because looking at the multiple parameters or multiple inputs what we are getting from the different sources, it helps us to identify the frauds. Plus with the regulatory guidelines, because we have seen a lot of new circulars coming up specific from the different regulators from RBI or SEBI or the IRDA. So it also help us to automate the task. So like lot of time this regulators, they are sending the information in the PDF or Excel file which are the readable. But soon what we have seen that with the SupTech adoption, the regulators are also focusing on converting this advisories into the machine readable format. So because of that, then automatically the whatever the manual input what we are providing to the solutions will be also getting automated. For now, we are using this automated tools for checking the compliance status, and accordingly we are informing to the regulators. Plus there are a lot of things which is happening because initially all these department was segregated because each team was handling differently, like cyber security was handled by IT security head, or CDO was managing the data portion. But now with the SupTech, we also have a governance model. So like there is a specific committee which see the overall data, and accordingly the data, the decisions are being made on that, so that we have the holistic or the control view of the organization's data security posture. Because as you rightly mentioned, because of the DPDP coming into place, there will be a lot of data regulations which will be required, and that require a lot of governance and the visibility of the data what is available with us. So this will be helping us in those areas as well.
Thank you very much, Basil. Very good insights. Yeah, I'd now like to turn to Dr. Pawan.
So supervisory technology, there is a paradigm shift which an organization need to go through. It is not something which can be adopted immediately and then so you can start using it, because it involves artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and specifically automation, which Basil also talked about. A lot of things needs to be looked at, and the key drivers, first of all, for the organization could be the data explosion which is happening. The organizations are dealing with a lot of data, and the way the data is increasing, and day by day it is increasing, and that is why the DPDP Act is been getting pushed by the government as well to ensure the customer interest is being taken care. The automation is the key, and there has to be machine learning supported by artificial intelligence which can give analytics to drive business are considered. Along with that, the complexity, like Sir talked about 6 new regulations which have been introduced recently. The complexity of the regulatory reporting has increased over a period of time. So SupTech will be very helpful in resolving all this problem. Then there is efficiency pressure from the business side, which always keep on coming, which always put a particular function into pressure of delivering more with less resources. That's
A little closer.
that's something which needs to be looked at. Then the financial innovation which is required by every organization these days, whether it is fintech, whether it is digital banking, demand over new oversight model are the key drivers today. Now, if you look at some of the use cases which Basil also talked about, it's a real-time transaction monitoring, reporting. Specifically, if I talk about cybersecurity, that's the expertise of my domain. If the alerts are not getting converted into incident, it leads to a bigger problem for an organization, and that needs to be acted upon within a stipulated period of time. The artificial intelligence, along with machine learning, plays a key role, and the reporting needs to be done in a less amount of time. If the reporting is being delayed, there will be a huge impact for an organization. So these are some use cases which I want to emphasize upon.
Thank you very much, Pawan. Very comprehensive overview. Yes, Harvinder.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Let me put a little bit global perspective into SupTech, since I'm associated with State Street, which is a global asset custodian, and it's almost like a $43 trillion asset in their custody and operating in 30 plus countries, right?
Hold it a little closer, the mic.
Oh, okay. So it's more closer now. So putting a global perspective to SupTech, so SupTech simply means that how regulators are using technology for their benefit, right? Many of you or your leaders, if you see, spend a lot of time just with the regulators. Cyber is only a compliance thing in BFSI industry, right? And they are not just doing for fun, because regulation is so heavy when regulator comes, they come with a lot of pressure, and you need to handle the same pressures, right? So now, imagine if regulators is a company, they also want to invest in their human capital. They also wants to ease down their regulatory supervision process and all, right? So in a similar way, they are also adopting a new technology, right? How the technology can help them for a better surveillance, right? So that's where the SupTech come into a picture now. So when we are working with different regulators, so current status is something like that, regulators are also on their journey. For example, we see that federal regulators in US are way ahead in using SupTech, right? They are using AI to understand the pattern when any financial institute send them the reportings, right? And some of the regulators in US even have a system where they want their APIs to be integrated with regulator data as a financial institute, and they want to do it a real-time monitoring of the data, right? And similar kind of push we are seeing in other geographies. For example, in UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, they are also trying to adopt SupTech, but at a different maturity level, of course they are. They are also at a juncture where they are providing the guidelines, hey, look, this kind of platform that we are bringing up, you need to integrate your systems with these kind of platforms. We are expecting this kind of data, right? So that's where SupTech is now at this point of time. So what we are doing is, in our ecosystem, we are running different projects. For example, we want to make that all the workloads are cloud agnostic now. We are moving to the cloud. Second, we are also working to modernizing our data pipeline. We are also working to have a central governance of our data system so that a structured data can be produced for SupTech consumptions. So that's where we are.
Thanks, Harvinder. I think you had very good insights from all these three. So I would like to now move, in the interest of time, to the problems, challenges that you face in SupTech, and also the solutions and the emerging trends. Probably I'll combine in one question. So obviously, the supervisory tech itself is growing. As we know, the governance, risk, and compliance, all of them are using AI and blockchain, and many of them, even a simple thing like a certificate probably can be put in blockchain, because otherwise someone can come up with a fake certificate several years later. So given that, that there are all these challenges, we would like to know from you on what you feel are the challenges in implementing SupTech, the possible solutions and the trends.
Yeah, so the challenges what I see is like with the next generation technology, any technology, first we face the issue with the skill set. Because the problem is not the solutions availability, but the problem is like implementation and ongoing the operation maintenance. So that is one of the key issue which I see. The second thing is like with the SupTech, there are a lot of data getting collected. There are a lot of data analytics which is getting performed with the AI coming into picture. So the kind of attack surface which is getting incorporated with this kind of adoptions, because these are all the new technology, we don't know what is cyber impact it will be bringing to the organizations. Third thing which I see is the legacy system, because in the BFSI you'll be having a lot of legacy system. Upgrading those legacy system will be a challenging task, so this has to be done in parallel. And unfortunately, there are a lot of legacy system which has the more dependency compared to the new generation solutions. Fourth, I think, is the kind of reluctance within the employee, because if you see, in case if the employee or the employer, in case if they are happy with the kind of services what they are getting, they don't want to change to the new technology, because like in case if they are able to do their work on the time and they're able to adopt, so they don't want to spend additional time in adopting the new technologies. So that's what I see.
Thank you, Basil. Yes, Dr. Pawan.
I would agree to Basil what he talked about. There are, I would like to add certain points there. Apart from the challenges which he talked about, one of the biggest challenge which I see is the data privacy and the concern. Because in ensuring the ethical use is very important of a sensitive financial data, and that needs to be taken care while designing and while using the system. The other thing is the algorithmic transparency, because the way data is been getting used and consumed within the AI decision making has to be transparently shared with the stakeholder, and that needs to be explained in an efficient way. Talent gap, Basil already talked about, because the adaptation has to be taken care, one, at the time of the development, and second, the usability as well, because you need to educate user how to use that efficiently. That needs to be taken care. Legacy in the financial sector plays a very important role, because we all deal with legacy systems. Integrating that with the latest technology is one of the challenge which needs to be taken care. You don't know whether the connectors are there or not, and when you are configuring something, whether that can be integrated with the new age technology or not. That need to be taken care. Apart from that, over and top of it, being a cybersecurity professional, cyber risks are always there, because integrating new technology with the legacy system and then ensuring that it is cybersecurity compliant plays a very key role.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Yes, Harvinder.
Yeah, sure. So I think very well summed up, and these are the top challenges that we see. But let me put a perspective from when we were working, so what we faced it. Challenges are similar, but pivot is a little bit different. So when we integrated our system, we realized that the data is not as per their consuming streams. So the way they want to consume the data, we are not producing the data in the same fashion, right? Accuracy and the consistency in the data was not as per the regulator standards, right? So when you're working manually, you have a chance to normalize the data, normalize the report, not fudging it, but normalizing it and then sending it, right? But when you're integrating the systems, your system has to produce 100% accurate data, right? That's the challenge, and we face that, and in order to take care of it, we are running different projects where we can normalize the data as per their consuming stream on their platforms, right? That is one thing. Second, something which is again related. So let's say we are a 150 years old company, right? And we have acquired multiple entities in last many years. So it came up with their own complexity. It came with their own legacy systems, legacy process and all, right? And you can't fix them just like that. Budget is always at the constraint. So a lot of legacy systems are there, and even when you want to integrate with API, your legacy system doesn't allow those API integrations kind of things, right? So that's another challenge that we see, and now we are like upgrading all those kind of things. Otherwise, we will not meet the target of integrating with their SupTech. The third, as they said, that the cyber is a challenge. For example, now I want to pivot it a little bit different. When you have a suppliers and vendors, they supply you the solution, and then you integrate their solution with their systems, so you can understand how you're opening the landscape, right? Threat landscape and supplier chain attacks we have already seen in the last 5 to 10 years increasing. So same thing is happening with your regulator, right? You are opening up to the regulators for your systems, and regulators are also not developing those solutions from the scratch. They are also dependent on further vendors in the market from where they are like adapting it. Of course, they are putting their own logic on top of it, but again, it's a vendor agnostic solution that they are implementing it. So it again open a supply chain attack, but with regulator, you can't have a same relationship as that you have with the supplier. It's a very different relationship kind of things, right? So that's another challenge that I see.
Thank you.
I just want to add, like, for Indian market, the cost is the most important factor which is playing over, like, because with this technology, you cannot justify the ROI. You will need to implement the technology, and once it has been successfully implemented, then probably over the period of time you will be able to get the output. So I guess the cost is the critical factor.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. See, look, you go to, there was gentleman from HSBC, so right, and even Pawan is there. The budget that these guys get is totally based on the RBI regulatory requirements. They never pitch, hey, look, I have a cyber risk, can you give me budget? No, they go, I have a regulatory requirements. You know, the bank will stop, regulation can put penalty, can you give me budget? So everywhere it is same.
Yeah. So I mean, I tend to agree with many of the points made in different contexts. But one of the things is about the spending. The last point was that if we need to spend, I mean, in the sense that you cannot take a risk lightly, which is especially what is one of the #1 risks in the world. Cyber risks are proven to be. And if cyber crimes were to be a GDP, it would be the third largest GDP in the world. That is $8 trillion or above. Okay, the first would be US with 24 trillion, the second would be China with some 18 trillion, 19 trillion, and then would come cyber crimes with 8 trillion. The next is half of it, which is 4 trillion, Japan and Germany, both half, and then India would come. So the thing is that you cannot take it lightly. A minimum of about 10% of the IT budget has to go towards cyber security. Otherwise, something is seriously wrong. Much more so if it is a critical area. It can go up to 20% or 30% or whatever it is, but it is extremely important. So that is one of the things. So from the challenges perspective, we see, if I were to sum up, it would look like, first is the integration. That means integration with legacy systems, integration with suppliers, vendors, all these things are the challenge. With regulators, the cross-border integrations, all of these are there. The second thing is the collaborations. You need to have collaborations with so many different parties now, much more so than earlier. So you would have, because things are changing constantly, and innovation, that is a third area, where what's happening now is that regulations are changing, business models are changing, technology is changing, okay? And then of course, your workforce itself is changing a lot. You cannot get suddenly very skilled workforce. You need to keep training them on the job, or you need to have fresh talent pool and all that. So all of these things, and competition obviously is changing all the time. So it keeps you ahead in the game. So with all of these things in mind, there are solutions. For example, you mentioned costs. DSCI is incubating several startups which can offer competitively very good services. Some of them are award-winning startups, and also they have deployed many solutions worldwide in different countries. So you can consider those if you're looking at some of these. Some of them, I think the stalls are displayed outside. You can welcome to look at it. So that is one thing. So the cost, as I told you, that the spend has to be there. The intent, otherwise you're putting yourself at risk. Then there are solutions available which need to be used. If you're not using the solutions that are available as on date, for example, for quantum, there could be solutions available, products available. So you need to use those and constantly upgrade. That is there. Then there has to be a relentless focus on integration and upgradation. So you cannot sit with the same legacy systems that you've been sitting saying that, oh, let's not begin this whole journey of digital transformation because it is too. If you don't start now, you never make it. In future, it would be going deeper, sliding deeper into the quicksand. So that is the other thing. Then, of course, there needs to be a focus on upgrading oneself, keeping oneself abreast legally. That means there has to be a team which is looking at all the latest regulations which are there, how do we need to be compliant and all that. For example, take privacy. Privacy, you have privacy, yes, there are so many fines and all that, you need to be compliant, but how do I comply with it? For that, there is privacy engineering. We have written a report on privacy engineering. There are so many tools and technologies. So what happens is tomorrow, even if you are hacked, let's say you have encrypted your data, then the encrypted data is hacked. Still the court of law, you're not that much at risk. So that is the important thing. And there are very sophisticated layers and so many technologies that are there. Just before this, when we were having a casual discussion, I was talking of something called structural break. Now that's a technology in which if some shake-up has happened in the market or like a shock, then there is a break in the pattern. Now that break in the pattern That is one of the most analyzed one. A lot of research papers have come out analyzing that mathematically. So at the time when such a shock happens, then whether it is countries or organizations, they need to react in that real time. There is a narrow time window within which they need to act. That means it's like a shock. Will it recover from the shock on its own? Does it have the resilience to recover on its own, or it's going to spin out of control? Is the situation going to spin out of control? At that time, a lot of decisions need to be taken. So that is what, and that's where there are a lot of mathematics and a lot of tools available to help them do that, taking into cognizance all the factors. So with that, probably I'll wrap up the discussions. As we know that there are a lot of new technologies. I'll not repeat. They're all being discussed in here and elsewhere. So if there are any questions for a few minutes, we can open it up to the audience for questions. Yeah.
Hi, this is Ruba from JP Morgan. I have a question from Sriram sir. As we talk about the SupTech tools which are widely available now, how, if you're using SupTech tools with AI, how we can make sure that they are fair, accurate, and precise? Considering the fact we were using generative AI, some companies have just started using generative AI. One of the biggest example is ChatGPT, right? So whenever you ask a question to ChatGPT, it comes with different answers. Now we are moving to the agentic AI. So in SupTech tools, if we will integrate the upcoming agentic AI, would you think it would be accurate, 100%, and would it be precise?
So touched on a specific point of AI. Now AI is evolving very fast, as you know, and DSCI also has courses on AI and all. So what we would do is that you need to first understand what your needs are. How are you going to employ these tools, and what are the metrics by which you will measure them? And then how are you feeding at every level? Where are you gathering the data? How are you setting the training data? And after that, how is the adaptation happening? And after that, how is the inferencing happening? All of these things need to be studied. For example, take in machine learning. Machine learning is easy, but machine unlearning is not easy. Okay, that's still in a big area of research. That means if any garbage it has learned many years ago, you're not going to have it, simply you cannot issue two SQL commands and remove it. So in that manner, you need to be cognizant of all the risks that AI poses. Okay, and then you need to put it. For example, you cannot have upload documents onto ChatGPT and say summarize it. That's a sensitive document. It's gone out to the whole world. So you need to put measures in place. There are many measures in place, much more than our time will permit. So what I will do is approach us separately, and we have a lot of right now in this itself they have released one book which is on AI, right? A template guidebook which you can use. That is one of the things, starting point. And there are several other ones. Even EU AI Regulation Act has come up, and several others have come up. If you are entering this field, enter so with caution, and of course you will have the enthusiasm, but you need to put a lot of things into place before you can simply go ahead and use these new technologies. Yeah, be aware of the risks. Any other questions?
And I can also add, like, in addition to what Dr. Sriram said, that when regulators are using SupTech and they are using AI, one, of course, they are also on the journey. Second thing is they are training their AI system for particular use cases. So when you put a particular use cases, you can make AI more accurate in that. So for example, when they get the regulatory data from the financial institute, they verify manually, then they put into their AI and then see if the result matches or not. They keep doing it again and again because they can't come back to the institution and say that the records are not correct. It would be a very, very difficult situation for them. So of course, accuracy of AI in SupTech is very, very important. Very good question, yeah.
Yeah. So just because he's raised these points, I'd like to close with a few. Gen AI and AI in general, you are not, Gen AI is only a very small part of the whole AI framework, LLMs and all. But you need to understand it that way. For precision queries and all these, you need to do a lot. In the sense, Gen AI, you cannot use it directly for precision queries. Nobody will allow it. For example, it's like saying, let's replace it with a doctor and go that. In any field, you cannot throw a lot of data at Gen AI and say that somehow figure out or start inventing like Einstein. Where is the Where are the equations of relativity and all that? That you can't do. Unless you have fed in a lot of patterns, only then you will get precision results. It's like, let me just tell you, if you go to a kindergarten class, you will find there is one teacher for all subjects. If you go to a top-notch engineering college and you find one teacher for all subjects, you will be shocked. So in that sense, it has to be trained in that manner, and those patterns all have to be fed in through base models, through a lot of vector embeddings, knowledge graphs, through ontologies, and all those things. Only then you can use it properly. Use it in the sense that, remember, if supposing there is a mining industry, someone queries saying that, look, can I go here? It gives you some answers. Then will he, based on the result of the answer, will he invest millions of dollars? Is the question. If he doesn't, then the answer is not really reliable. Okay, so there's a lot of fuzziness now. So in order for it to reach there, there's a lot that needs to be done. So that's for another day. Thank you.
Sir, I would just like to say that data is the key, because whatever data you insert, the output will be completely dependent on that. If you keep inserting apple is orange, apple is orange, apple is orange, the moment you write or apple, it will give you orange only. So that's the key, because otherwise, if you keep putting garbage into it, you will get garbage. So accuracy, the question you talked about, it all depends on you. The way you filter the data, the way you insert the data, the output is going to be dependent on that only. And that is the reason when we talk about AI, always we also in parallel see the data, that what kind of data are we giving it to be trained on. If it is junk, it will be, the result will be junk as well.